My $500,000 Dividend Snowball has been recently growing like crazy, and because of that, I think right now is more than a perfect time to not only do a complete portfolio overview and show you every single position, including new and old stocks and ETFs inside the portfolio, but also all the dividends that I was paid over the last month, which some of them are the largest dividends I've been paid ever. Now, if you happen to be interested at all to see behind the scenes of my portfolio and everything that it entails as of right now, please make sure to stick around until the end of the video, drop a like down below, and let's get right into it. Before we get into today's video, make sure to please go to the first link in my description and grab my brand new dividend investing ebook and dividend tracker bundle. I promise you guys are going to find tons of value in both. So for those of you that might not be all that familiar with my channel, this right here is one of my larger dividend growth portfolios. I do have several positions throughout this portfolio, but I also do hold stocks and ETFs throughout different brokerages also. And as you can see, as of filming this video, this portfolio is currently valued at around $545,000, which is definitely well above the previous all-time highs for this portfolio, thanks to Jerome Powell saying that rates are going to be paused and then cut sometime next year. But if we were to sort this portfolio by market value, so the biggest position all the way down to the smallest position, the number one position by far right now is my 1,000 shares of Apple, currently valued at just shy of $200,000. Now, as we go through every single one of these positions, I'm also going to be including some sort of side notes on if or if not I've been buying more of whatever it is, so stay tuned. The next biggest position in this portfolio is my 930 shares of Realty Income, which is definitely one of the stocks I've been buying a lot of as of recently. Across all my portfolios combined, I think I'm sitting at just shy of 3,000 shares of Realty Income, and Realty Income is one of those stocks that I buy pretty consistently on a daily basis. The next biggest position is $38,000 worth of Devo ETF, one of my favorite ETFs, pretty low beta, and on top of the almost 1,100 shares in this portfolio, I do hold more Devo across other portfolios as well. Next, we have my 1,000 shares of Verizon stock, which are not doing so hot still as of yet, but I really can't complain considering Verizon has moved quite a bit off of the most recent lows. Verizon is a holding that I do hold a lot of across my portfolios, but have not been buying anymore, and probably won't anytime soon. Next, we have 671 shares of JP Morgan's JEPI. We got 503 shares of BST. We got 100 shares of JP Morgan, 208 shares of SEHD. Now, for those of you that are subscribed and watch my channel frequently, you know that SEHD is one of my favorite ETFs across the entire market, and I've been diligently trying to grow my SEHD position over the past few months, especially before the most recent ex-dividend date. Now, this portfolio, excitingly enough, surpassed 200 shares of SEHD just a few weeks back, I think, and across all the portfolios as of right now, we're sitting at over 500 shares of SEHD, which is amazing. SEHD is my buy and hold forever position in this portfolio. When to be completely honest, a lot of the other positions in this portfolio I can sort of give or take, but my position of SEHD has been growing nicely and I'll continue to do so. Another position I've been adding to like crazy as of recently is Enterprise Products, or EPD. Now, EPD is one of my favorite higher yielders, north of 7% yield, and as of current, we're sitting at around 582 shares of EPD in this portfolio alone. Next, we have 303 shares of JEPQ, one of my favorite cover call ETFs, if not my favorite. Now, JEPQ is one of those ones I wish I would have bought more of when it was a little bit cheaper, but JEPQ is definitely always on the radar, and if we see a dip opportunity, I'll definitely load up. Next, we still have our 820 shares of QYLD, 1661 of BDJ still, we have our 300 shares of OHI, 185 shares of XYLD, we have 124 shares of MO, another position that I've been trying to grow as of recently. And even though a lot of dividend investors hold a ton of Altria, I don't really have that much of it, nor am I super interested in having a ton of Altria, but it is a high yielder that pays a pretty good dividend, so I definitely have been grabbing a few shares here and there. Then we still have our 215 shares of NewC. We have National Retail, which is another REIT that I've been grabbing as of recently, up to 111 shares of National Retail. We have our 24 shares of UPS, our 47 shares of PNW. We have our 419 shares of ETJ, 48 shares of WPC. We have 60 shares of Maine, 16 shares of EXR, 77 shares of Vici. Then we have 442 shares of MPW, 26 shares of BNQ. We still got our 15 shares of SPG, 81 shares of BUI, 58 shares of UTG. We also have our 50 shares of Walgreens, 59 shares of KMI, 42 shares of QQQX. We have 80 shares of TSLY. So I have been grabbing a little bit more TSLY, buying a little bit more on the dip days, but still more of a speculative small position in this portfolio, relatively speaking. Then we have 37 shares of SVOL, one of my other favorite alternative investment vehicles. We have 20 shares of PBA, 6 shares of TRO, 12 shares of SPYI, And then we just have a few shares of DLR, APLY, HRZN, KMB, a few shares of RQI, EMB, CEFD, then a few of ABR, ADC, SPHD, AWP, TRP, AMZY, and ARCC. So that's the portfolio as it sits, guys, just before 2024. Like I said, as of right now, I'm really focusing on grabbing more and more shares of SCHD, if I'm going to be completely honest, to sort of balance out the portfolio and honestly just in hopes to have a strong foundation for the portfolio long term. Now, out of all the holdings in this portfolio, as you can see, there's some positions that I probably could get rid of, especially the positions that I just have a few shares of. A lot of times the way that I sort of do research on if or if not I'm going to start a new position, sometimes I'll add just a share or two of a position and see how it trades over, say, a month time frame. But to be completely honest, there's lots of different companies, lots of different ETFs in this portfolio that I could probably consolidate, which is honestly what I'll probably be doing sometime soon here. Now, on top of that, like I touched on earlier, my biggest goal as of right now is to add more SCHD, the Schwab US Dividend Equity ETF, into my long-term portfolio because this ETF, for one, crosses off pretty much everything I'm looking for as a long-term dividend growth investor, and I do feel like I'm sort of underweight a real stable foundational ETF like SCHD. Now, also to go along with that, just to be completely transparent, I am possibly planning on selling off my Apple shares, maybe within the next few months before the end of the year, taking some profits and rolling that money into SCHD. Next, I thought it'd be fun to go through all the dividends I was paid in the last month, because to be completely honest, November was a massive month of dividends, so I have to show you guys exactly what we got. So first, in November, I got $665 for my 1,000 shares of Verizon. Then last month, we got a nice sized dividend from JEPQ and JEPB, 240 from JEPB and 125 from JEPQ. Then we had a $228 dividend from EPD. We got 25 cents from ADC, $60.46 from National Retail, $201 from OHI, $235 from Realty Income. Then we got $1 from HRZN. We got $16 from KMI, $13 from Maine. We got about $1 from Stag, $240 from Apple. Then we got $29 from TSLY, just around $1 from AMZY, APLY, and CEFD. We then got $30 from NUSI, $5 from SPYI, almost $50 from XYLD. QYLD paid us $132. Then UTG paid us $11. UPS paid us $38. AWP paid 40 cents, $1.72 from ABR. BST paid our monthly $125.75. BUI paid $9.80. BDJ paid $93.35. RQI paid 80 cents. ETJ paid $24.26. SVOL paid $9.60. And last but not least, Devo paid $154.56. So it's not every single month, of course. I get payments from things like Apple. Of course, it's only once a quarter, along with things like National Retail is once a quarter. But a lot of these different names in here are ETFs that do pay on a monthly basis as well. And of course, over time, the longer term goal of this portfolio is to continue to add more money in it through reinvesting dividends and other things. And for this dividend growth portfolio to do exactly that. To pay dividends consistently throughout the days, or the weeks, or the months, and of course to grow in the background over time. But now I want to hear from you guys down below. With the way the portfolio is sitting right now, what is your number one favorite position throughout the entire portfolio, if you had to pick one? If you enjoyed this video, make sure to please drop a like in it and subscribe for more future content like this. Thanks as always for stopping by, and if you are interested in investing, make sure to check out these recent videos I posted right here.